everyone. So, I wasn't going to bring astrology in here, but we have so many things going on this week, and for the next couple of weeks that it just seemed better to do it. So, welcome everyone, because this is all about forward movement, growth, and clarity, and you know I'm about that. So, if I can bring that to you, yep, that's what I'm doing. So, welcome everyone. My name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities, including tarot, astrology, hypnotherapy, and mediumship, spiritual advising to help you on your path. And now the author of my upcoming book series, Concepts Create Reality. So before I get on with the spread, we have like these big aspects again. I mean, we already had like this lunar and the solar eclipse, but we've got, because the planets are always moving, but we've got like Mars moving, we've got Mercury going direct, and we have this big full moon in Pisces. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So let's talk about Mars movement. So Mars is going to move into Virgo, and it'll be there for about 6 weeks, which means wherever Mars was on your chart is now moving into a different house, right? So you're going to have movement, and you know, Mars is about energy, and Mars gives you that oomph. And I mean, a lot of people like to talk about Mars being war, but Mars is about giving you all that energy and that like oomph to do things, and that inspiration and that drive and that ambition to do things, right? So with it going into Virgo, it's going to make you like, because Virgo likes to organize and put their efforts into what's going to be, I don't know, worth their time, I guess. So, like, they're going to get gains out of it, right? So, with Mars going into Virgo, that's what you're going to be thinking, or that's the way you're going to be feeling. Like, I'm going to put effort in if it's worth it to me, if it's going to bring me gains. And that's okay. I mean, you should do that, right? Sometimes we need to do that. But it's going to be in different houses for different signs. So I'm going to go over that in each sign. But then we have Mercury going direct. And Mercury is going, it's moving to that, and it's going direct or station. So it'll be, so I'm sorry, Mars you'll feel for about 6 weeks. Mercury you're going to feel for about a week and a half. And it's going direct right on the point where we had the solar eclipse, right on that point. So it's like oomph. It's like a lot of all these things that have been delayed, and this miscommunication, and these things that you have been like working through, tweaking on. If you've been doing the work, like when it goes direct, it's just going to all of a sudden give you resolution to those things, right? So, and it'll give you, so all these delays, it'll give you with your everyday that lower, I mean, I call it the conscious mind, but some people call it the lower mind. You know, there's the subconscious and the conscious mind. So all of that will start getting resolved. Those things, those things of where Mercury was like retrograde in your house, it's going to go direct, and those things are going to start resolving. Even if you've put a little work into it, if you've been tweaking, like I said, to do during retrograde, you're going to feel like the difference where all of a sudden things just start moving forward, right? And so you'll feel the effects of that for like a week and a half, week and a half. And then you have Mars going into, you know, the next house, which is probably going into the house where your Mercury was retrograde for each one of you, or each one of us. And so you're getting like all this forced forward movement, right? Now, the other thing too is this full moon in Pisces. So what does that mean? So Pisces already is like a very intuitive, psychic, hidden realm kind of thing, and with this full moon, which is new beginnings, right? It's also got Neptune in there. So the full moon is on Pisces, and then it has Neptune. So wherever that falls in your house, you're talking about like miracles and manifestations and magical stuff coming to you without any effort. Like, this stuff is already going to be given to you. This is on your path. So depending on which house it is, you should start like getting these things coming from nowhere, like coming from the air. Like all of a sudden you get these things, right? So it kind of depends on which house it falls in for you. But the Pisces is about connecting to your higher self and connecting to spirit, connecting to oneness. The only thing is when you get this full moon stuff, it has to come from your heart. Now, when I say your heart, there's a lot of people that love from their second chakra. Now, and I'm talking about your fourth chakra, for it to come from your fourth chakra. Now, I haven't talked a lot about chakras here, but, I'll do that on my website. The second chakra, when you love from the second chakra, that's about attachment and greed and fear and loss. Like when you're loving somebody from fear because you're afraid that you're going to lose them, or because when you love somebody because you're like, well, they're mine. That's attachment. That's second chakra love. I'm talking about anything that you do in this full moon. If it's from your fourth chakra, if it's from unconditional love, it is just going to blossom. It has to come from your heart if you get inspired to do these things, okay? Because if it comes from the other, then there's going to be ramifications. Unfortunately, this is how we decided to live on this earth, with duality, okay? So, but the great thing is this full moon is just going to be bringing all these things in different people's houses. So, on to I hope I explained everything. For each sign, I'm going to do each house, and I'll explain the houses and then how you'll be able to receive them, and then we'll do the love area. So, see you in a minute. Hello, my lovely, luscious lions. So, let's talk about the houses first, and Mercury, and the full moon, and Mars. So, I'm going to say this. Just looking at your spread and looking at your houses, this is all about transformation for you. And I know that you're not feeling well because Mercury kind of hit you hard in your second house of possessions. So let's talk about Mercury. Mercury was retrograde and went direct yesterday, September 5th. I am going to try to upload this before midnight tonight. It takes so long to upload a video. I don't know that it's going to work. So, because I have 4 to upload, but I will try my best. If not, well, it's going to be what it's going to be. So, Mercury was retrograde. It went direct. So you probably had delays, maybe even some scarcity in your second house. And your second house is about possessions. The second house gives value to the first house, and your first house is your ascending or your rising, which is your identity in this world, right? So the second house is about the possessions that you create, the world around you, that gives value to your identity. So I'll give you an example. Like if you work really hard, and as Leos you do, work really hard for the home that you bought and the car that you have and all of that, that's value to you, because that's saying, listen, with hard work, I created this. I created the life I have, right? So that's what the second house is about. It's about the possessions that gives value to your identity, okay? So with Mercury in retrograde there, you probably were not getting much, and things were probably being delayed, and things weren't coming through, and maybe you were in the middle of, I don't know, buying a house or getting a car or buying someone something, and it just wasn't coming through. Now that Mercury's direct and stationed, you should start seeing resolutions in those things in your second house. So I can kind of see where you feel like this right now. So not only that, but Mars is going into your second house. So Mars's energy, it's that ambition, it's that drive, it's that I forgot the word again, so I'm going to use oomph. It's that ambition, that drive, that energy, that force that's going to move everything forward. So not only is Mercury going station, but Mars is going to be in there to help with that, okay? So Mars helps develop and helps you develop new things in your life, new possessions in your life, new resources. So your money was in here too, right? So the only thing that I would caution you with Mars, because Mars is such an ambition and forward, moving energy, that you can, on occasion, I'm not saying every Leo, but this can happen, where you can overspend. But let me say this, if you spend from your heart center, and you Leos know how to do this, if you spend from your heart center, then it'll be fine, right? But again, if you're going to call that into you and think, well, it's not fine, then that's a contradiction, and that you could be calling that it's not fine into your energy, okay? So that's Mercury and Mars. Now, this full moon in Pisces, Pisceans are all about that connection to the other realms and that connection to God, oneness, source, spirit, your angels, your higher self, your loved ones. That that's Piscean. Piscean has that veil very thin in this world where they can connect very easily to that. So, with this full moon tonight in your eighth house, you will be receiving gifts, like just these things. See, Pisceans can manifest without any effort. They just know how to bring it to them. They just have this innate gift to do that because they have such a connection to the other worlds. So, what's the eighth house about? So, the eighth house is the I transform. So, this, I told you, this is all about transformation for you. And it's ruled by Scorpio. But Pisces and the full moon are going to be in there, and Neptune's going to be in there too. Okay, so this is about this. So in this house is where you learn other people's values as well as yours, like in relation, excuse me, in relation to yours. It's also, this house is the eighth house has is sex and money and other people's money. It's intimacy. It has issues around death and rebirth. Okay, so it's the transformation, right? So it also has to do with the hidden realms and the occult and those things. Okay, so this is about life transformation for you. This is about those things that you have. I won't even say that because it's not things you're always working hard, Leo. You just know how to do it. Okay, you know how to get what you want. That's just a gift and a talent that you have. But with this Piscean full moon, you don't have to do any of this. This is like gifts and things coming into your life without any effort, because it was on your path anyway to have this. It was the way that you wanted it to come in so that you can experience it, right? So you get these gifts around other people's values, around other people's money, around intimacy, around sex, around money, all of that. So you get this transformation that's going on. So right now, I know you feel that you're like stuck and nothing's happening, but that's because Mercury was retrograde. And you may start feeling a little bit better because you'll feel the effects of Mercury going direct for about 2 weeks. And then you feel this Piscean full moon for about 10 days to 2 weeks. And then you also, Mars will be in that house, in the second house, for about 6 weeks. So you'll get all these gains going on. Okay, so that being said, let's go into your love reading for September. Now, this is your current position. So you just feel overwhelmed. This is you, the Ten of Swords. You just feel overwhelmed. You feel like just too many things are coming at you, and everything that you do, you're hitting a brick wall and it's not working. And I can understand why you feel that, especially if it was in your second house, Mercury retrograde. So, with this position, even though because it just feels like that, even though it feels like you're overwhelmed and you're frozen and you don't know what to do, you can turn this around by taking a moment and saying, all right, these things are happening. Why are these things happening? Let me tackle one at a time. Okay, because if you look, even though these look like swords, these are swords, they have light at the end, which means these are experiences that you wanted to grow and learn from. Okay, so their advice in this position is the Nine of Swords, which means that their advice is, instead of taking this stance of I just can't move, nothing's going right, things have fallen apart, instead of taking that, use this time in this state that you're at to really think about where you want to go next. Not what's happened. You can think about those things that are happening or have happened, like one at a time though. But you can think about them like, all right, what am I learning from this? What can I grow? How can I do this better? Take that time. So take the time to use this space wisely, because your life is transforming. So the reason that you're just completely still right now, for some of you, this is a general reading, but for some of you, the reason you've been put in this position, and that's, let me say this, you put yourself in this position. Spirit didn't do it to you. You did it. You wanted it this way. You put yourself in this position so you could basically put yourself in timeout so that you can look at these things in a different light. Because there are some things that you have been doing that you haven't really wanted to do, but you just kept going, right? And there are some people that you have in your life that you really didn't want to have in your life, but you just kept doing it because, for whatever reason, because you have such a big heart and you don't want to hurt people's feelings. But then, what about your feelings, right? Like, don't you matter? You matter just like they matter. And some of you, if we're talking about love and romance, some of you won't let a partner go, or someone that you've been dating go, because you feel like, I don't want to hurt their feelings, or I don't want them to, because you have such a big heart. But in that, if you want to think about it a different way, if that is not the person for you, if you guys just don't match anymore, because maybe one time you did match, but if you don't match anymore, you could possibly be keeping them from the true love of their life, just like you're being kept from the true love of your life. So sometimes we have to make those decisions. Okay, so use this wisely. You came from this place, this is your recent past, the Five of Coins, of scarcity, of like depletion, right? You were depleted because you're just giving and giving and doing and doing and giving and giving, and nobody's giving back. And part of it is because you won't accept their help back, and the other part of, because your ego gets involved, and the other part is because you won't let anybody in that much, right? And so you keep, and the other part is because you don't wait for somebody to do something, you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it over and giving, 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 and then you become depleted, right? And so being depleted in the space of like scarcity and need and depletion, it put you in this space where you're just overwhelmed, like, I can't go anymore, right? So in your fourth position, in these next 2 weeks that are unfolding, you have the Six of Wands. So I feel like the tides are turning. I feel like you're going to see, you're going to get accolades, you're going to start getting your things back, you're going to get more things back, you're being seen for working really hard, because some of you got really directed and worked hard. Even though you feel overwhelmed, that's how Leos can do it. You just keep going, right? And so that seems to be like in the next 2 weeks, you'll be dealing with these accolades. You'll be dealing with getting noticed. You'll be having this happen to you. Some of you, if you're single, this is someone looking at you. I don't know that they're approaching yet. They may approach in the second half, but someone is noticing you, and people are noticing you on all levels. So people are noticing you in your family, in your friendships, in your romantic area, in your business partnerships, or in your businesses. So you're going to be noticed, and you're going to start receiving accolades for that. That's in the first 2 weeks. Now, from your higher self, I always ask your higher self, what is the one message they want to bring through to help you move forward in love? And you have the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords is about you knowing that you're coming out of this space of turmoil, of unsettledness, of instability, okay? So you've taken your experiences, you see this person has the light, they see the way, and they're coming into calmer waters. So you're coming to a point in this month of September where things are going to get a lot more stable. Things are going to be happening for you the way that they usually do. It's just you needed this time to think about and let go of these other energies that aren't serving you anymore, okay? That's really important. So, you should be getting into calmer waters. You should be more stable, and that's the most important thing they want you to know. Okay? So no, that's it. In your sixth position, this is the later half of September. You have the Knight of Coins, so you have offerings coming to you. Some of you, this is a person, it's a knight for you. This knight, so knights are beautiful, especially this one because he's more stable than most knights. He is willing to stay for a while, or she is willing to stay for a while. But this person comes into your life because they're exactly what you're wanting and needing for this phase of your life. This could be a friend. This could be someone in your business, but this could also be a romantic person as well. So if you're needing someone to just be intimate with you and not, want to go to the ultimate degree with someone, then that's what they're here for. For others of you that are in a long-time relationship, it looks like at the beginning of the 2 weeks, they'll be noticing you again and seeing you in your light. And in the second half, it looks like you two will be spending this quality time together. This is very, so the coins and the pentacles is earth to me. It's very tangible. So this stuff grows as you spend time with each other. But for others of you, this is an offering coming to you and it's tangible. This is physical stuff, okay? So I see money. I see opportunities. I see opportunities to make money. I see opportunities to have possessions. That's what I'm seeing at the second half of the month. Just hang in there, Leo. Now, in your 7th position, this is your fear. So you have the 9 of Wands, which means you're really tired. You've been doing this for so long. You have experiences. At some points in your life, you know where you want to go, and then you're there and you're like, I thought this was going to be different. And so you're sort of you've been resting and you've been trying to figure this out. And you're wondering, for many of you, will I ever get to that space where I'm just comfortable and stable with myself, with someone in my life? Am I stable with, can I be stable with someone, and can I be stable in my life, and can I be just stable? Now, remember, this is a fear. This is in your fear position. So to me, a fear is just there to remind you of what you want and what you don't want. Now, you know you don't want to be alone, most of you, but if you do, that's okay. And you know you want to be stable. You know you don't want to be unstable. So you already know what you don't want. Focus on what you want, okay? And some of you allow yourself to be in this space where instead of thinking like it's overwhelming and I can't move, think of it as, okay, my body, my mind, and my soul is obviously telling me to take a chill right now. So I'm going to get centered, and I'm going to see where I'm going to go next. And I'm going to allow myself that time. Okay? Now, in your 8th position, this is the way a loved one will be viewing you or dealing with you. Some of you, this is the universe. So a loved one is seeing you as this issue that you guys have. You put it to rest. You're not dealing with it right now. You're too overwhelmed, and they're kind of hoping that you'll pick it back up. But for others of you that it's the universe saying this, they're saying if you've tried everything already with this person or with this situation, it could be business partners, it could be your friends. If you've already tried, sometimes you just need to step away from it, relax, allow yourself some time so that you can come back with a different eye, so that you can come back with different energy and try to resolve this thing, okay? Now, in your 9th position, this is your hopes and dreams, but to me it's the outer realm of the energy that you're pulling in. I see this 2 ways. This is the 3 of Swords. Some of you are bringing in that, because it's part of your path, to separate from that individual that you're with. Now, this doesn't just have to be romantic. It can be your businesses. It can be relationships in your businesses, relationships in your friendships, relationships with your family. This is all types of relationships. So I see that separation is inevitable for some of you, not everybody, but for some of you, it's part of your path to do that so that you can move forward and gain the things that you really, really want, okay? Now, for others of you, it looks like with your work and with things that are happening, there is going to be a separation between you and this particular individual, but it's not like we're breaking up. It's like I have to go do something, or they have to go do something, okay? So for that reason, I see the separation. So that's how I see it both ways. You kind of already know this is coming. You just don't know how to do it yet. And so allow yourself some time, okay? Now, in your 10th position, this is the overall outcome of what you'll be working through in the month of September. You have the King of Wands. Now, this is you, Leo, whether it's the king or queen. Gorgeous, 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 with ambition, with life, with vigor, with a pure heart, with a big open heart. And fire signs, especially Leos, never fail at anything that they want. They just have to want it. When you stand in your truth and you stand from your heart and your mind and your soul aligned with your higher self and your purpose, you can't fail. You just don't fail because you come from your heart. And love is that energy that moves all. So it looks like by the end of this, by the end of September, you will be feeling like your old self. You will be feeling like, yes, I got this. I can do this. Sometimes it's good for us to just get maybe not knocked out, but maybe knocked down just a little bit to remind ourselves to keep our ego in balance. And the king knows this. The king knows how to keep this in balance. Okay? So, others of you, there is a person coming in for you, and I see him here, or her here, and I see her here. So I feel like they're just looking at you here, but then they actually approach here. Okay? So, for some of you, it's been a while, and it's time. And this may be why you're here, because you're like, is that ever coming? Oh my God, like I've been like single for a while and I just can't find anybody. I'm not gonna take a second best. I want, and I've worked hard to receive that match for me. And it looks like that's coming about for you. All right, my gorgeous ones, I hope this helps. I'm sending you lots of love and light. You will be back in your Leo self soon if you're not already getting there. Love you, love you, love you. Bye.